Moon Knight. Marvel and Disney Plus's newest series sets off the new era of Phase 4, I guess you want to call it. We're in the middle of it, whatever it is. The sort of era of Marvel's a little weird, but kicks off the new era of Marvel's shows on Disney Plus in a wonderful way of just insanity, mentally ill characters, a villain that's not mentally ill, and it focuses in on these three characters, or four if you count one of them because they have two personalities. This is a spoiler-free review, so you will not be spoiled for anything from Moon Knight up to the first 4 episodes, which were screened thanks to Disney and Marvel for me. And it's easy to see why they gave us the first 4. Episode 4 is insane, and that's all I'll say about it for now. But we'll go through the characters, what's good, what's bad, why you should watch this show, why you should be excited, and of course, we'll give it a score at the end of it. Here's our review of Moon Knight. So, to start off with it, it is carried by the 3 stars. 3 stars are Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, and May Calamwe. And Oscar Isaac plays Mark Spector, Stephen Grant. He's somebody with split personality. Ethan Hawke plays Arthur Harrow, the villain, or so it seems to be the villain of the series. And then May Calamwe plays Layla. Those 3 characters really form the sort of trio, the triumvirate, whatever you want to say about it, of the show. The focus is entirely on them. The rest of the side characters, there are characters around the peripheries of the story, but most of it is focused in on those characters and how they sort of interact with each other, because they do, in many different ways, sort of connect up, whether it's Mark and Steven and Arthur, or Layla and Mark and Steven, or Layla and Arthur. You get this whole sort of arc between the 3 of them that coalesces into the 4th episode, which is just an absolute insane, wild thrill ride of an episode. It's one of the best of the Marvel sort of era. Before we get to all that point, there is a lot of talk of mentally ill or mental illness versus sanity here. And a lot of the times in these superhero movies you have, or shows, you have a mentally ill villain versus the quote-unquote sane heroes. And this time it sort of takes that and it flips it. So you have Mark, who is mentally ill, who has a mental illness, who has multiple personality disorder. And you have Arthur Harrow, who is incredibly sane and calculating and sort of almost Vulcan-like in his demeanor on the series and all of that. And so it juxtaposes those two and really takes it to a whole different level of what does it mean to be a hero? What does it mean to be a villain? What does it mean to be sort of an ancillary character in the whole proceedings? The real awesome part of that sort of dichotomy, or that sort of juxtaposition that they do here, is you get to see the other characters reflecting and sort of reacting to what Mark and Steven do. So Mark and Steven are the same person. They switch personalities throughout the show. Steven is British, Mark is American, and Oscar Isaac plays it perfectly. There are scenes in the show where he's sort of conversing with himself. Either, you know, he might see himself on this TV screen here and start talking to his reflection, or you'll have even better parts where it's him talking to himself and he switches personally between each of the characters while he's talking. It's very much like Split in that way, except more of a superhero film here. And so you see Oscar Isaac really stretch his acting muscles here. You see Oscar Isaac really just go for it in this performance. Interestingly enough, in some of the scenes where he was talking to himself, he had his brother in as a stand-in, which is cool to see that, you know, these actors can't do it all. They need some help sometimes, especially the great ones like Oscar Isaac. The violence in the show is something that's quite a big topic of discussion, because we do have the Netflix Marvel shows on Disney Plus finally. But for the people out there that are expecting that level of violence, that is about an R-rated level of violence and sexual content that you're not going to get out of these Disney Plus shows on Marvel. I'm sorry to say it. If that's a spoiler, sorry, but you're not going to get that level of violence. For what it does push the boundaries of that sort of Marvel level that you're going to get. So the bar was set with, I don't know, something like Loki or Captain America, the Winter Soldier, stuff like that, where there's a pretty good amount of violence. It's not like death and destruction or gore here, but you're going to see a level of violence that really pushes that bar. So for the people out there that are looking forward to that, temper your expectations a bit, but keep it in mind that this is still going to be one of the most violent Marvel shows out there. The VFX for the show, they warned us in the little email that Disney sent us. The special effects for episode 4 are not finished yet because the VFX artists are hard at work. they are hard at work. Their hard work is paying off because the VFX on this show are absolutely stunning in most places. The gods, especially Khonshu, looks terrifying when you see him for the first time. Moon Knight's suit, when you see it, because he has 2 suits in the series. The first suit, it is, you see it a bit in the trailer, and you don't get to see like the full close-up of it, but when they show it, especially that scene in the trailer where he's beating the crap out of the dog or whatever it is, the Egyptian canine thing, it's even better in the full thing because you just get to see a level of detail on the suit that they sort of scrub out in the trailer, down to the wraps and everything like that. And then the other suit, the suit that's supposed to represent Steven's version of Moon Knight, is also stunning. It is beautiful. Both of them, I can't wait until they make statues of these things, because it's going to be really hard not to buy them because they're that good looking. For fans of Moon Knight, for fans of the comic books, you will not be disappointed by the way that the suit looks in this show. The tone of the show, it's not necessarily a comedy, but it is like Marvel in that way where they have light moments. Most of the comedy comes from either between Steven and Mark sort of having to remember each other's sort of acts, because they do switch up at certain points where one of them says, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to let you take over the body anymore, it's me now. And so Steven has to learn how to fight, where Mark is a trained mercenary that has been fighting his entire life. And so you get some sort of funny moments from that. You also get a lot of funny moments between Khonshu and Steven, especially when Steven doesn't realize what's going on, and he sees this creepy-looking Egyptian god coming after him. And so you get a lot of funny moments like that in the show. But most of the time, the tone is pretty, dramatic, sort of action-y, superhero-y. It borrows a lot, like Marvel does, in most of the best things that they do. It takes a couple of sort of genres and just smashes them together. So you have sort of the superhero genre, and then you have, like, Egyptian sort of action-adventure, and you just slam them together, and you get some of the episodes in Moon Knight. The beautiful thing about Moon Knight is that each of the 4 episodes that we've seen so far really take a sort of different approach to the proceedings. So episode 1, you have more of a cerebral thing where you're introducing Mark and Steven, and you're introducing the whole narrative and everything that goes on. And it's very much like Memento or something like that, where it's a character trying to find out who they are and why they're doing certain things. And then as you go through, you get to more of these adventure episodes where one of them's in a museum, and one of them is in Egypt, and one of them, it's more action, superhero-y. And so each episode is this sort of individual story that adds together through this whole 4 episode, and hopefully the last 2 episodes are also just as great. But it's really those first 4 episodes, and then that 4th episode is where it hits the fan. It's one of the most surprising moments out of all of these Marvel shows. John Walker in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is like the pinnacle for me, where he beats the crap out of the guy with the shield, and that's how the episode ends. That's probably the pinnacle, or Loki, either the last episode or the second to last episode with the old Loki variant that makes the old Asgard. That's another moment of mine that's one of my favorites. That episode 4, the whole last probably 25 minutes of the episode as a sequence, is one of the best in these shows that you can get. It really takes some brave steps and some sort of weird, I'm trying not to spoil anything here, but it takes some really weird turns in the story that just make it, bar none, there's no equal to it in regards to Marvel television. You get a lot of Indiana Jones, you get a lot of The Mummy, you get some horror elements as well here. So for the horror hounds out there, you're going to really like Moon Knight for some of the more scary, sort of atmospheric moments that you get. And then there's these moments of wonder, and it's just crazy how they fit all of this into these 4 episodes and into this series to make it so that it actually makes sense and that it's watchable. Because a lot of the time you get things like this where you have too much stuff going on and it doesn't really work. With Moon Knight, you have a lot of stuff going on, but they do it in such a way that it really, really just does flat out work. So to conclude, it improves on the formula that we've had set in 2021 with WandaVision, Loki, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, What If. Those sort of, What If is a little different, but Those Marvel TV series that we got on Disney Plus, they set a formula. Moon Knight takes that formula and improves upon it in every single way. It is, and it will be, your new favorite Marvel Disney Plus series after watching it. It is that good. The first episode airs on March 30th. Get those lunar calendars ready. But there's a reason why they gave us the 4 episodes. The 4th episode, 1 to 4, is an excellent ride. I'm really glad that I got to see it all the way through and that they didn't just give us, you know, the first 2 or the whatever. The show really improves upon itself as each episode comes out. And I can't wait to see the reactions to that 4th episode because it is a true shocker almost. But that'll do it for the review of Moon Knight. If I had to give it a score, I would give these first 4 episodes a 96 out of 100. There's not a lot to hate about this. Some of the effects did look, even in the episodes that were finished, look a little but it's really picking nits at that point because the show is that excellent. The performances are excellent. The direction is excellent. Oscar Isaac is a goddamn star. I want to see Moon Knight with everybody. These new Marvel characters that they keep introducing, like Shang-Chi. I want to see Shang-Chi with everybody in the Marvel Universe now. I want to see Moon Knight interact with everybody. I want to see him interact with Deadpool, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. Everybody, I want to see it. That'll do it for this review of Moon Knight. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and do all that YouTube stuff because it really helps me out with the content that I do. And make sure you check back for more heavy metal or horror movie or Marvel or whatever content, video games that you like to see. And that'll do it. Make sure to watch Moon Knight. It's absolutely fantastic. You'll love it. I loved it. And check out my written review on thathashtagshow.com as well. It'll go up there every week, starting with the 4th episode and then on, because the first review is covering the first 4 episodes without any spoilers. 4, 5, and 6 will cover it with spoilers. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again real soon.